YouTube, Squawk here, Lightning Bolt Strategy, Algo King. Here's a quick recap of my trades today on US30. For those that are in my community, know that I scalped over $5,000 today on the 1 minute chart using my Lightning Bolt strategy, and that consists of just straight auto zones that are drawn, squawk zones as I call it that are drawn, and the lightning bolts that indicate your swing high and swing lows. Great indications for reversals when you use them in Confluence. So come check it out, like and subscribe, and let's just go over some of these trades so I can show you how I made $5,400 today using my lightning bolt strategy. Let's go. Okay, trading family. As I mentioned, let's do a recap of today's trades on US30, where I scalped over $5,000 using my lightning bolt strategy on the 1 minute chart. So let's just basically do it. This is these green bars indicate the open today, and you'll notice that if I zoom in here, you'll notice these particular trades, these were buys where I then took partials at. So I'll talk to you my reasonings for entering at these levels. Looks strange, people are looking for sells. I get it, I understand that, but I was looking to scalp the open, and then throughout the day, you'll notice that then I took advantage of some sells off of some lightning bolts. So I just want to go over this with you so you can get a better understanding as to how I scalp and how I keep my losses to a minimum as much as possible. So basically, if you take a look at this first trade here at 6:30 or 6:29 a.m. Pacific time, you'll notice that I entered here at this point. You want to know why? Well, basically, I was looking for rejection. As price was moving down, I was waiting for a rejection at these levels. When US opens, I always like to trade the reversals because it's just quick money for me. And it's always at an extreme level. It's always at an extreme high or low early on. So here, it painted an extreme low, and as it then rejected and I'll show you here, the 100 SMA, and also rejected the 50 and the 20, I went in for a buy. So it rejected the 100, the 50 and the 20 SMA along with this trend line, this green trend line that I had drawn. I went in for a buy. I did have some drawdown, but then price did shoot back up, and it then here's where I took my partial, where as it was approaching my trend line, I took that particular partial. For those that don't know, where I take partials, I don't have set take partial values. My take partials are always at levels where I understand to be price points where there's going to be some reaction to price or resistance. And that for me is going to be on the 20, the 50, 100, and 200 SMAs. You may ask why? Well, simply because the world uses them. There are millions of people that use them. And because of that, I understand that there's going to be a lot of orders placed around those areas. They're looking to reverse at those areas or enter for continuation. So as I'm approaching those simple moving averages, I'm taking partials and I'm protecting immediately. So if you notice here, my second trade of the day, you'll notice that price shot down, right? Price opened, price shot down, and it touched my squawk zone. This is a zone that's configured for, if I show you this, this is a zone that's configured for 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute zone on a 1 minute chart, right? So once I see this zone here that's printed, and it rejected this zone and also rejected this 200 simple moving average, price started to shoot up. This is at the open where there's a lot of volume. I then immediately went in for a buy and I took it up, and come the next minute, I did have some drawdown. My stop would have been a little bit lower. I did have some drawdown, it reversed, and I was able to partial out at this level. Actually, in fact, I don't even believe I was in drawdown. I believe that when this bar closed, it then immediately continued to shoot up, and then it shot back down. So I wasn't even in drawdown at that level there. I took those partials, I closed out, I was good, I was protected, things were fine. Another trade that happened here, if you take a look at this one, it's hard to see. Let's see if I could change the color on this particular trend line. Here, this particular trend line, you'll see price came close to my zone here, my squawk zone, and it rejected it. It felt like this particular price was overextended, and at this point, I went in for a buy. I did have some drawdown here at this point, but it shot up, and I took my partial at this level, and I believe at some point it then knocked me out. at a $0 loss, but I did take the initial partial. Once again, this is a cookie cutter move. This is my zone. I saw that price came, it tested this zone, it rejected my zone, it rejected it the second time here. And then here comes the third time where price went penetrated a little bit deeper, rejected it, and then I went in for a buy immediately right at this level. And as I went in for a buy, you'll notice that here I have some take partials. Let me see if I can annotate here. There's some take partials that was taken. My first take partial was actually right here at this level. Price shot up. I entered here. Price shot up. I took my partial there. And then my second partial was taken right at this level here as it began to touch the 100 SMA. And then my third take partial was taken right here at this level as it began to touch my trend line that I had drawn out. So once again, I take partials on the 20, 50, 100, 200, also when it approaches any of my squawk zones, and also if it's approaching any of the trend lines that I draw, right? So that's my third take partial. And my fourth take partial, you can see price shot up. If you're following it, and I took the partial here at this point as price, it did shoot up higher, it rejected. It felt like at this point to me, it was going to reject, but it touched this trend line again and I immediately exited. So that was my move. So when you see me post my wins and you see all these trades, really it's one trade, but it's partialed out 3, 4, sometimes 5 times. So that's how I keep my stops, my losses very small. And I do take advantage of the trade as it's going in my direction with runners. Once again, here's another trade that occurred here. Once again, price shot down. It then tested this blue zone, which is my squawk zone. It rejected as price moved up. It then also rejected this 200 SMA. So then I immediately went in for the entry right there. And if you notice, you can see my first take profit was here. My second take profit was here. And my third take profit I held here. And if you notice, all of them are around significant levels. So once again, this first take profit, it was a significant level at these simple moving averages. Then also, once again, at this trend line. And then thirdly, at the zone. There you have it. That is how I took those partials there. Let's see if I can move on and show you some of the shorts that I've taken. None of these trades had anything to do with lightning bolts. They had to do with zones, zone rejections, or my initial trade was based off of a simple moving average rejection. But everything else was based off of a zone rejection, coupled with a simple moving average for additional confluence. So let's see here. I must have walked away. I didn't even participate in any of these trades here. Shame on me. This looked great, actually. And the setups were there. But I came back right around this hour, and you'll notice that I started to take sells here at this position. So once again, let's see if I can annotate this once again for you. And here's my lightning bolt strategy, which indicated, hey, there was a possible opportunity for a reversal, and that did not print on this bar. It printed on this bar. That set the bar after the lightning bolt, right? So, but what I've done was I anticipated this swing high. It was at the highest level of this zone that was drawn. So then I immediately took the sell here. And if you notice, then the lightning bolt struck, but I took my partial here. Actually, after my trend line, I didn't even have a look at, or take a partial at my trend line. I waited for it to approach the next zone, and I took the partial there at that level. And then my second was actually here at this level as it started to reject this 20th simple moving average. Once again, I'm going to beat it in you that I always take partials at the 20, 50, 100, 200, any of my zones, or a trend line, simply because I go into the market and we know that the market is fluid. It can do whatever it wants to do. So if it could do whatever it wants to do and we have no control, why am I going to enter the market with a static first take profit, second take profit, and third take profit? No, I take what the market gives, and that's the mentality I use when I go into the markets. So once again, you'll see here, price shot up, and then it began to show a level of rejection. It actually tested this zone here. So it shot past this zone. and then it started to test this particular zone and showed rejection. Not only did it show rejection on that zone, but it showed rejection on this trend line. And then I immediately went in for a sell at this point because my stop loss would have been probably a little bit above this zone. So if you notice, it did go, I was in drawdown. It didn't touch my stop loss, but I was in drawdown up until this point. Price turned around, and you'll see that I took my first take partial right at this the next zone that price was approaching my support level, and then also I took it here at this level as it was approaching the 100 as a simple moving average. Simple. And the reason why this was great confluence in this particular area, if I were to clear this out, I want to show this to you. I do use fibs, right? So if you notice, fibs are auto-drawn. Fibs are auto-drawn on the chart. You can see the fibs are auto-drawn here. This is a fib here, right at this level. And if you see, price shot down on my initial entry, right? Price shot down. And then what did it do? It retraced back up to this level here. And this level is between the 50 and the 618 simple Fibonacci levels, which is the golden zone. So since it's in that golden zone, for me, that's an immediate, let me just draw this out for you. This is the 50 to 618 golden zone that's drawn out. And because it touched that level, I'm immediately counting that in as an additional confluence. So that was also part of my decision to get into this particular trade here. And price then moved in my direction. And as you can see, I took partials along the way whenever possible. I mean, that's basically it. This here is off of a rejection. I'll show you this one here. This one is a little bit more complex, but this one was off of a rejection of this zone, right? And then price began, let me change this color here. And then price began to push up. And as it then it then tested and rejected this 20 SMA, I got in for this long position here. And then I took partials right there and exited the trade. So once again, all of these trades are very similar. Once again, we've got a lightning bolt signal here. This is the lightning bolt. Price began to shoot down. So price shot up, it rejected this zone, and then it gave me a lightning bolt and a sell at this level. I waited for it to push through these SMAs. I got in, I did have some drawdown. Drawdown was back, up to this point here, and then price shot down and I took the partial. Same thing here. This one here was then once again, look at this. This was what I just mentioned to you, a fib entry right here, right? So price shot down as I showed you, and then between the 50 and 618 retracement, I'm going to have to draw this out. I know that this is the 50 on the reversal side, but this zone here was the entry. And let me just draw this out for you so you could see, right? So from here, actually from this leg, from here down to here, you could see it was in and I'll draw it out and I'll spell it out for you here. It was price went and it touched the 50, the 618 and the 50 zone. So price retraced back to that zone from this swing high to this swing low. And then price came back into the golden zone, and that's where I decided here to take my entry, and then I wrote it down to this level. Here's another partial, and then there's another partial that actually ended right there. Simple moves. This is how I trade US30. It's quick, easy scalps using my lightning bolt strategy. Those zones are auto-drawn. It's very simple, easy for me to understand. It spells it out for you. If you don't like a zone, you delete a zone. If you feel like you're missing a zone, you add a zone. But it takes a lot of thinking out of your trading when you're having to do a lot of things and move fast in and out of trades, move stops to break even, protect, take partials and such. And if you notice here is where I let me annotate again. Here I do have controls here, soft controls. There's software controls that will allow me to take partials and protect my positions immediately. So it makes things a lot easier for me without having any external gear. It's right there on the chart. Simple, take partial, protect. And those, when you click take partial, it will actually take partials based on the rules you have set up in the Expert Advisor. For partials, it says here, expert settings for partial percentage, it's going to take 50%. So every time I click that take partial, it's going to take 50% of my position against all positions. I could also change it for just the most recent order, or positions never partials. Those are other features. Follow me, take a look at some of my videos that explains it all, but this is a lifesaver using my lightning bolt strategy. It allows me to trade on the 1 minute chart, scalp, and yeah, and I was able to take home $5,300, $5,400 today. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope there were some gems in there that you can pick up from and increase your game, better your game, level up. And I hope to see you soon. So if you like what you saw and you want to learn more, subscribe and like this video. And also you can follow me on my Instagram at SquawkTradeFX. And there you'll see more rich content, and join my community. There's going to be a lot of great things that's happening in that community. A lot of people making a lot of money using my indicator. And I hope to see you there. Peace.